Hello and welcome to another Canguro English Daily Digest. My name is Christian and today is Thursday, best day of the week. Now, in some previous Daily Digests, I talked about sound symbolism. Basically how the way that something looks can affect the sounds and therefore the names that we give those objects. And I talked about Booba and Kiki. So basically, we look at this round, soft kind of object and we give it the name Booba because we associate bo, this round sound, with round objects. And this is kind of sharp and angular, so this is Kiki. Sharp Kiki. Yeah. So that's sound symbolism. So the way something looks affects the way something sounds. But here's a question. Does it also work in reverse? If I give something a name or a sound, can that affect the way something looks or the way something behaves? Probably think it's impossible, right? But I'm about to tell you about some research that's going to blow your mind. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. So from the moment you are born, you are exposed to a cacophony of different sounds. What a great word. Cacophony comes to us from Greek. You can probably see the two different parts of the word here. We have phone, okay, which you know from words like telephone or phonetics. It's about sound and voices. And then we have kako, which is that fantastic Greek root kak, which has given us lots of great vocabulary in lots of different European languages, like in Spanish, caca, or even in English, a kakistocracy. Kakistocracy is leadership by caca, by terrible quality people, right? So a cacophony is bad sounds. So imagine if you go into a tropical bird enclosure and there's thousands of tropical birds and they're all like and this kind of horrible sound is very irritating and bad. That's a cacophony. It's a noun. You can say, wow, there was a real cacophony of sounds in that enclosure. But it's not just bad sounds, it can also be a bad combination of sounds. So imagine if you go to a party and there's, here in the corner you have them playing dance music, and here in the corner there's some guy with a Bluetooth speaker playing some rap music, and here there's a hippie guy with long hair and an acoustic guitar trying to pick up some girls, and here, all of this mix, it's a bad mix, it's a cacophony of sounds, right? Not a good, bad combination. And so we're exposed to this cacophony of sounds, and these sounds, they create deep meanings in our minds, okay? Now, I have to before I can move on, I have to ask you an abstract, philosophical question. So, what does it really mean to own something? Like, for example, I own these scissors. I went to the shop and paid for them, but what does that mean if they're sort of mine? Because I can give them to another person to use, right? They can use them, but I own them. Maybe I own them, but I never use them. Or maybe I own them, but I decide to give them to another person. Owning is a strange concept, right? Do I own these scissors? And what about your name? Do you own your name? Do I own the name Christian? Is it mine? There are other people in the world called Christian, right? And this is important because the science tells us that in general, we really like things that we own. So for example, if I showed you this pair of scissors, along with 10 other pairs of scissors, and I said, choose your favorite pair of scissors. You would choose these because they're yours, you like them, you own them. And it turns out that the same thing is true with the letters of your name. So you like your name, you like the letters of your name. And this study here called The Effective Consequence of Mere Ownership, the Name-Letter Effect in 12 European Languages. So it's from 1987. And they showed that if I show you a selection of letters from the alphabet, and I say, choose your favorite letter, then there is a much higher probability that you will choose your favorite letter if that letter is in your name. So I'm more likely to choose the letter C because my name starts with C, or maybe an R or an S. I love these letters. These are my name. I own them. So that's the first stage. That's the first stage of association between sound and behavior. Right? The sound is affecting whether I like something or not. Crazy, right? But then we move on to the next level. Okay, this is really super interesting. This is from Psychological Science from 2007. Moniker maladies when names sabotage success. Okay? And there's 5 studies in the paper, but 2 of them are really interesting. So listen to this. All students want A's, but students whose names begin with letters associated with poorer performance, like C or D, achieve lower grade point averages than students whose names begin with A and B. What are you telling me? So basically, if your name is Alice or Andrew, then you're much more likely to have a higher grade like an A than if your name is David or Debbie, because that's associated with good and bad grades. Crazy. And then listen to this. Baseball players avoid strikeouts, but players whose names begin with the strikeout signifying letter K strike out more than others. So if your name begins with K, because the letter K is associated with missing the ball, you miss more balls. Your name affects your behavior. Wow, okay. And then we move on to this paper, which was actually published just last week, okay, on sound symbolism in baseball player names. And this is really crazy. So what they discovered is that your name is correlated with your weight. Your name can physically affect how many kilos are on your body because of the sound. And they found, for example, that short names fatter people. So if your name's like Bob or Biff or Ed, one syllable, you're going to be heavier, you're going to be bigger. If your name is longer, then you're going to be lighter. That's just one finding. Another one here, another one in the same paper showed that the same correlation between high and low vowels. So if your name is associated with a low vowel, like Bob or Barry. Okay, if your name is associated with low in pounds, players are given and chosen high vowels in presence of this is in high vowels. Yeah. So basically, if your name has high vowels like E, like Ian or D, then you're going to be lighter than if your name is like Bob, like E-R, fat, skinny. Amazing. Anyway, I hope that you found this Daily Digest interesting, and you might want to consider changing your name to do better at learning English and to be skinnier.